But it was absolutely horrifying. I mean, to see her in a seizure state, not being able to think or do anything, not knowing what that meant was absolutely horrifying in every way to her.
She was diagnosed with epilepsy and was having around 40 to 50 seizures a day. They ranged from tonic to myoclonic.
Even if she wasn't having a seizure we could see, she was having constant epileptic seizure activity in her brain.
Called subclinical seizures. Because of the frequency, these are the ones that could cause brain damage. They did CT scans right away, and the results of the EEGs were alarming.
I was looking to understand what was happening to my daughter. I was looking to see if there was something that hadn't been thought of or had been ignored because of some other factor. And along that journey, I came across cannabis. So to begin with, we had to get a prescription because I was very committed to doing things in a as legal manner as possible. I really wanted to be able to have her doctors, her neurologists follow her progress.
But admittedly, they didn't know enough about the use of cannabis as treatment.
If nothing else is working, and this might work. So last January, she had been on cannabis oil for 5 weeks, and we didn't see a seizure for 5 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. No seizures, and then we went for an EEG and it showed no epileptic activity. I was like, wow, like this is the first thing that actually helped her.
A great moment for the Rapetskis. Gwenny was starting to show signs of improvement.
She's having fun and she's developing, and her quality of life has improved incredibly dramatically, which improves everyone in the family's quality of life.
Jaden's 7 years old now. Jaden was born perfectly healthy. At 4 months old, Jaden had his first seizure. It was just a downhill road for the next few years. She's having 500 twitching myoclonic seizures a day. He'd have grandmas for hour and a half. I remember he was crying from 1 o'clock at night to 9 in the morning, screaming and crying in pain. He was seeing things. He was hallucinating from the medications. At 4.5, Jaden was taking 22 pills a day. He was at 25,000 pills he had taken by the time he was 5 years old. I said, look, I don't think Jaden's going to make it another week. What do you suggest? They're all, I don't know. I mean, I would try anything. I go, what do you think about medical marijuana? They're all, well, like we said, you think we're a life and death situation, you should try anything. So I said, all right. I went and picked up something I saw in a dispensary. Came home, I gave it to Jaden. After 4.5 years of having myoclonic seizures, 500 a day, and twitching and head drops and seizing, the first day I gave it to him was, thank God, 1 million times. It was the first day he's ever went seizure-free in his life. Then after that, second day, third day, fourth day, the seizures were down dramatically. I could see his eyes lighting up. It was summertime. It was June 1st, the first day I gave it to him, 2011. He started swimming. Jaden's never been able to swim before. The sudden temperature change of water would give him a seizure. When I put him in the front yard, and my neighbor's like, oh my gosh, we've never seen him in the front yard. They're so excited, they were cheering him on.
There you go, buddy. There you go.
My goal for him is to hear his voice, to hear him talk. We just want him to be happy. We instantly saw results. He was smiling again. We noticed the decrease in seizures. He was able to transition. And at this point, he was finally able to gain cognitive skills.
Aaron Kleppinger considers this a miracle cure, the daily dose of liquid marijuana extract known as Charlotte's Web, given to his 8-year-old son, Hunter.
Hunter.
The Kleppingers believe it controls seizures so severe they caused brain damage. Traditional epilepsy drugs were ineffective for Hunter.
When he was on pharmaceuticals, he was screaming all the time or sleeping all the time or having more seizures. So he's more alert and more happy than he used to be.
Come on, let's go.
The Kleppingers moved to Colorado, where recreational and medical marijuana is allowed, from Georgia, where any use of marijuana is illegal. Dangerous or not, it is to them the best hope for their own miracle against epilepsy.
Okay, I'm Stacy. I'm Blake's mom. This is it's November 21st. We give Blake his first dose. It is from the syringe. I measured out 0.5 ml, so 0.5 gram, and he's going to put it under his tongue for about 90 seconds and swallow it. I measured it out myself because it's kind of hard for me to squirt in his mouth and make sure that I get the right dose. So I just put it in a plastic spoon, and I'm going to just take it off. Much easier. Oh, here, put it under your tongue. Stopped having seizures on Friday, but Thursday was the first dose of the CBD. I'm hoping it's helping. So today he went to his day program. He went on the access bus alone. I'm very happy. He's also sleeping very good. He has a horrible insomnia, and since he's been on CBD, he's sleeping. He's not asking for a sleeping pill. No seizures since the CBD. He seems aware. He's eating good. I would really recommend CBD to anybody to at least try.
Well, Madeline was born in 2004, and she actually was born prematurely and had a stroke in utero. And then actually we did not see any seizures until she was 5 years old. She had her first seizure in 2010, in the summer of 2010. And we were actually not expecting it, even though she did have brain damage on the left side of her brain due to the stroke in utero. We thought by that age we would not see any seizures. We used pharmaceutical medications. Trileptal, I think, was one of the first, and Vimpat. Started with low dosages, but she continued to have seizures. More were added on. Some were taken away because they had adverse effects, such as anger. We saw a lot of. She's actually normally very calm and very sweet. We saw things in her like personality changes, and so they would take some away and add some more, and we would still continue to see issues, but we would have to deal with them because sometimes her seizures would stop for a time, and then her seizures would come back, and they would have to keep adding more medication on. I think that the pharmaceuticals actually exacerbated her condition and made her worse. We decided when we saw this video about medical marijuana and how it was helping children with seizures, we decided the best thing for Madeline was that we needed to move out to Colorado. My mother joined me out here in Colorado. We started the cannabis oil in October, and she was off of all pharmaceuticals by the end of this thing. And so basically, when she started the cannabis, it took some time. It was a little roller coaster. There was periods of time where she would have more seizures, and there were periods of time where she was very cognitively clear, is the best way to show it. She was coming out of her shell. She had starting to have a quality of life. It wasn't until she was totally off the pharmaceuticals. Now she sleeps through the night. Her EEGs have drastically changed from what they were to what they are now. It's miraculous because, like I said, she's on no pharmaceuticals. She's only on cannabis oil.
There's nothing in my mind that says the CBD is not the right thing to do, especially when you're dealing with something like that as a parent. Sitting there wish you could stop it, knowing the drugs you're giving her probably aren't going to be any good, and that they're damaging her in so many other ways. It's just not right.
She gained a lot of weight quickly and started having trouble with her heart and having trouble breathing.
We were given, at medication time, was it 7 different syringes? I think it was 7, right?
Yeah, all of them.
At 7 different syringes in the morning, at night, and then a couple different ones throughout the day. You know, and now we're down to an antibiotic and the CBD. We could never see her eyes before because they're always shut because she was in seizures. She was over 200 to 300 a day. And some of them very small, some of them lasting over 20 minutes in length.
The changes immediately as soon as she started with the CBD, you can see her back.
Yeah.
She stopped with the seizures and she just looked back to normal like she was before she started having all the kind of seizures.
So she had to have a surgery, you know, where they clamp her throat. It's called a nisinflammification, malrotation. So it's very serious. The stuff, she has silent aspiration, goes into her lungs actually. So, you know, stuff through her mouth is a no-no. This is how we administer it here. Like I say, she has a G-tube that this is specifically called a MIC key. Then here you just go in and push it in slowly. We do this 4 times a day because hers is a severe, uncontrollable seizure. So, and that is her medication there. 10 to 15 minutes after we gave her the first one, she immediately came around and I could see her eyes again, and it was pretty awesome.